Joining us now at the Okta.gov Identity Summit is Bo Hutto, VP of Federal for Netskope. Bo, thanks so much for joining us today.
Billy, it's great to be here. Really appreciate it.
So, Bo, what are the biggest challenges government agencies still face in moving toward more modern and centralized identity management capabilities?
You know, the federal government today has a ton of challenges when it comes to the EO and everything that's been mandated. One of the greatest challenges that the federal government has, although has been accelerated by COVID and you know, this remote workforce, which, you know, multi-factor authentication has certainly thrived from, but in a really positive way, right? You see the government with PIV cards and CAT cards and things of that nature, but getting the single sign-on is a massive difference for the customer base. And so from a user standpoint, it enhances that user's ability to easily be authenticated, to get online, and really then be put through a security stack, right, of their choosing at that point in time. The history of this, though, you know, it's awful that it's taken this amount of time to get to where we're at, right? The multi-factor authentication's been around for a long time. Single sign-on, however, and doing it elegantly is relatively new. And so the likes of Okta has been able to provide a very elegant solution to single sign-on, and we're a great partner with and appreciate that one component that really complements the rest of where you get to zero trust and things of that nature. But it's also one of those things that if you look at, I was at RSA a few weeks ago, and a couple weeks, these weeks just kind of all flow together anymore. But listening to Chris Inglis speak on the panel and actually on a roundtable after that the next day, it was all about just getting to where we should have been 10 years ago to a great extent. And the administration's done a good job of getting to where everybody else has been with multi-factor. Now moving to single sign-on is different, and they need to realize that. And I think that's one component that is really important because it is all about the user experience.
Bo, how are modern cloud-based identity platforms helping to accelerate the government's efforts to meet the administration's zero trust security mandates?
So I think it's a combination, right? It's not just one piece; it's multiple factors. You have everything. Data is now the new, you know, that's always been the piece that we wanted to protect. But before it was systems and devices and things of that nature. Now it's really, your perimeter is now this device, right? It's no longer brick and mortar. It literally is in your pocket or on your wrist. And so the perimeter is now expanded, and you can't control everything out there. But what you can do a really good job of now that data has moved to the cloud in a significant way is protecting that data. And so if you can put on the controls of single sign-on authentication, having a really strong EDR component, having the SOAR for putting all the pieces together, and then also having that single pass security architecture in the cloud. And that's, you know, what Netskope, we do a really great job with, is bringing all of what used to be in the traditional DMZ of our customers' SOCs and things of that nature, and bringing it all under one single platform instead of a portfolio that legacy vendors have been doing for years, right? They keep on acquiring capability to keep them relevant. The challenge with that in a really big way is that every time you bolt on something to a current portfolio, you create complexity, and complexity creates vulnerability. We were in a great meeting back almost a year ago now, speaking exactly to the EO. And if you look at some of the wording in the EO, it really highlights that we have to get out of our own way. We have to, I'm not quoting it perfectly, but it's literally, we have to make a significant change. And it is going to cost, but it's also something that is going to be significantly different, a massive move from legacy systems, which when you say legacy, the first thing the DoD CIO's office pointed out within this roundtable a year ago is, stop, we no longer refer to that as legacy. We refer to that as vulnerable. And it's due to that complexity. So if we can create a simple single pass architecture with a platform that has everything built into it that the best in the Valley have put together over the past 20 years, and now they all come together and think, hey, how would I do this differently today? You put that in place for the federal customer. You allow them to then transition those services off of on-prem to the cloud, making it significantly more efficient, while also bringing in the single sign-on, the EDR components, and the SOAR. Now you've moved yourself away from the traditional, legacy systems that continue to just gobble up little pieces of technology that they try to stay relevant for that really costly on-premise hardware refresh or whatever it may be.
Bo, thanks so much for your time today.
Hey, Billy, it was great to be here. Thank you for having me.